everybody. I'm here today again with Christine and Beans. Today we are going to be talking about ADHD and ADHD traits in the workplace. Hello, Christine. Would you like to add anything to that?
Yeah, just basically I'm ready to answer any questions. Again, a very surface level exploration as to how we can accommodate ADHD or do really well with ADHD in the workplace.
Yes. So thank you so much for being here again. And I don't have ADHD, I just have traits, but you have ADHD, don't you? So that's definitely helpful in talking about ADHD. That's very good. It's very good that you're here. Yes, and I'm very interested in learning more about ADHD in the workplace. My tick just threw a pen over there, ignore that. I'm very interested in learning more about ADHD in the workplace and how to accommodate people and the positives of ADHD in the workplace as well. So yes, it's great to have you here. My first question, I've got some notes. My first question is sensory overload. I know I've heard that a lot of people with ADHD experience sensory processing differences, and that can lead to sensory overload. Is there a way that that can be managed in the workplace to prevent people from getting really overstimulated?
The thing about ADHD and ADD, it has a lot of quote unquote subcategories and kind of like Tourette syndrome and autism. The sensory aspect of ADHD that I experience. So for example, the brain is going to pick up on a lot more information and process it a lot faster than I can do any of it consciously. So that's how I personally get overwhelmed. So it's the lights, it's the sounds. So for some people, if it's just the sounds, people who enjoy working in an environment, some people can use noise reduction headphones. That's something that we are all very familiar with. However, that is not something that suits everyone. So a lot of those sensory issues can be related to bright lights, hence the umbrellas. Again, that's a lot of times associated with autism. Many autistic individuals also have ADHD or experience it. The senses will be hyperactive as well. So everything will come in all at once. The brain will process it before I'm even aware it's happening. So that can be distracting at times.
Right.
But yeah, so the standard umbrella, low lights, headphones, or work from home, which is usually, I think, ideal, depending on the person. There's some people who still enjoy being in the workplace, and others are very comfortable just accommodating themselves at home.
Yes. Okay, that's good. So people shouldn't push themselves to be exposed to the things they're overstimulated to, because do you think that will actually make things worse? I think that probably
absolutely. Yeah. It's like everything, right? Like you want to do a good job, you push yourself, and then it compounds, and then you can't really go back. So it takes even longer to recover. So like everything, if you let it fester, if you let it happen, if you let it build, it's going to need an outlet somehow. And having to fight and focus on those sensory issues will take focus away from the work. So yes. But once those distractions are out, the hyper focus can come in.
But how would you deal with the distraction of Christine talking? You're not distracted.
It's okay. It's okay. I've got a basal ganglia that lives in my brain and makes me say things. That's okay.
Sorry.
So yeah, what was I saying?
I don't fucking know. Sorry.
Short-term memory loss is an ADHD trait. ADD, ADHD, memory loss.
You were saying about how we should not push ourselves to be overloaded. Yeah, that my teacher said that really
there you go. Yeah, that's perfect. Spot on. It's nice. It's nice when our basal ganglia agree, eh? So yeah. So if you're too busy managing the world around you, so you can try to focus on your work, you're not going to be able to focus on your work. So once those distractions are removed, you can definitely kick into hyperfocus. Yeah.
On the topic of hyperfocus, what would you say that's beneficial in the workplace?
Yeah, of course. Like everything else, there's a benefit. You can find a benefit to anything, right?
Yeah.
So hyperfocus obviously can be very effective in the workplace because short-term memory loss.
Sorry. Beans. No, not beans. Hyperfocus beneficial. You can find positive.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. So right now, what you're seeing, what you're witnessing, what you're experiencing, that's me with my major executive dysfunction, with my short-term memory loss, where this is how it's been for me all day. So yes, it can benefit a person to be hyper-focused, because that can make us very effective, because once that hyper-focus kicks in and all those distractions are out, all the information is already there in our brain, and we just have to apply it and put it where it belongs. So yeah, so that can be beneficial. Where it's not beneficial is when we need to switch gears, right? So it's kind of like, okay, so that project is finished. So we need to do something else, or it's not quite finished, but another task is coming up. So yeah, so the distractions can make us appear as procrastinators, which we aren't. I mean, we might be, indeed, but it's not really procrastination. It's quite literally an inability to focus on the task at hand. And yeah, that hyper-focus, to get out of it, requires a little bit of notice. So yeah, so that's what I have to say about hyperfocus, and short-term memory loss, which you are witnessing almost live.
This is our live example. Sorry, that was